10 years after people, water is taking a toll on empty coastal cities around the world, with a few exceptions. This mysterious town, abandoned 10 years ago, may reveal which cities will remain standing in a life after people. Of towns with more than a few hundred people, Pyramiden on the Norwegian island of Svalbard used to be the northernmost town on Earth. It's just 800 miles from the North Pole. Reaching this remote town requires an epic journey. A 4-hour flight north from Oslo, then another 4 hours through the choppy, cold Arctic Sea. But for those adventurous enough to reach Pyramiden, the dangers don't end there. Any group going ashore must be armed with a rifle to fend off polar bear attacks.
You could get killed. The last year was 1995. 2 different people got killed in 2 different locations. So they are potentially very, very dangerous.
500 miles north of the Norwegian mainland, between the chilling waves and sharp mountain peaks, lies the abandoned Cold War-era Soviet mining town.
I'm sitting in what was essentially the town square of a mining community. There were once about 1,400 people living here. This was, until 1998, an active coal mine. The Russians bought it from the Swedes in 1927, and they still own it. The mine is called the Pyramiden coal mine, or pyramids, because the mountain peaks around us take the shape of pyramids.
For the workers and their families, life in Pyramiden was one of structured isolation.
They had 6 days working week, and normally they had Sundays off. And I did that for 2 years. They eat at the mess hall. They got everything they needed here.
Beyond Lenin's gaze in the town square, the abandoned buildings sit frozen in time. There are no families to enter or leave the once crowded dormitories. No workers to use the industrial machinery. No one to use the sports equipment still standing in the gymnasium, next to the dry tile of the indoor pool. There's still coal in the mountains above Pyramiden, but retrieving it proved to be more trouble than it was worth.
People here left because it was no longer economically feasible to mine the coal. The coal mine itself, the seam of the coal, was way up near the top of those peaks. And it was a fairly thin seam of coal, so the Russians could not make a commercial business out of it and closed it down.
The empty buildings of Pyramiden are now waging their own Cold War for survival in the frigid Arctic climate. But there are certain advantages to being in the land of the polar bears. The Arctic temperatures are preserving the man-made structures here.
Basically, time slows down. Think of the food in your refrigerator. You put food in the freezer and its deterioration rate slows down. Doesn't stop, but it slows down greatly.
Even though Pyramiden is right by the shore, the low temperatures keep most of the moisture out of the air.
In a temperate climate, water gets into buildings, it then freezes, expands, cracks the building system, cracks the walls, cracks the bricks. It allows mold to grow, and then fungi, and then plants themselves. Here, that's going to happen over decades rather than over a few years. The buildings around me have not been occupied since 1998, but they're in almost perfect condition.
So how long will this abandoned mining village last? It's possible that someday Pyramiden could be known as the last town on Earth.
Even 200, 300, 400 years from now, this building will probably be recognizable as a building. And it would not be recognizable as a building in a temperate climate. It would literally be a little pile of rubble that an archaeologist, maybe coming from another planet, would have to dig through and find that there was once a building there.